Good morning. Today is February 6th, 2023, and I thought I've been live for the last 30 minutes because I'm a noob. I didn't push go live once again, and so the first 30 minutes of this was not live. But thank you for joining me. My name is Michelle, and today I wanted to share 11 different websites that focus on Michigan news and kind of go over how I find news articles and how you can do your own internet research, basically, by trusting yourself and not outsourcing your thinking. So you cannot just trust one source ever. You must look at different websites to make sure that the information that you're getting is not 100% biased and that there's some truth to it. And that's the thing, most of these, there's just some truth. You have to look other places. So I'm a little off kilter because, again, for the last 30 minutes I thought that I was live. So I gotta put this back over here. And we're going to start with the Grand Rapids Business Journal. So the first article that caught my attention is this: recovering gym industry is pumped for 2023. The gym industry was all but declared dying. See, I hate that. During the COVID-19 pandemic, but it is roaring back with a vengeance. These people look ridiculous with their masks on. It's completely unhealthy to wear a mask while you're running. You're meant to breathe in oxygen. The laws of nature you cannot change. Sorry, I know it pisses you off, but there are laws of nature, and the law is you breathe in oxygen in order to maintain health. And Wim Hof would say we all breathe way too shallow. So that is not helping your breathing whatsoever. It's not helping your brain cells or anything else. You look ridiculous, and you're not protecting yourself whatsoever. So, science. You don't need any kind of research paper to know the truth. When you have a mask on, it's hard to breathe because you're not supposed to be wearing a mask on your face. Common sense. Don't need an expert to tell you common sense, okay? Think for yourself. This website is really easy to navigate. That's the best part about this website. Some of these different categories are a little outdated, I have noticed. I went to the government section, and I'll just take you there right now, and you can see October 31st is the last article in this government section. So, something to be aware of. That's not to say there's not good news sources, or rather news articles that are older, but you do have to be aware that in the 21st century, news changes so rapidly because there's always new information coming in that some of this could be irrelevant, even though it was only in October. It's just the nature of the beast. Developers pitch ambitious 375-unit housing project at World War II era factory in Grand Rapids. Wow, I didn't even know that there was a World War II era factory in Grand Rapids, so that's extremely interesting to me. And to turn this into housing when there's such a housing shortage in Grand Rapids, I can understand that. Might be a good idea, something I'd have to research to see the pros and cons. I know housing in Grand Rapids is extremely difficult to find. There's waiting lists, and it's really expensive. So supply and demand would indicate more supply would lower costs. So it might be a good idea, but again, I don't know the negatives. Maybe there's a better idea for this area, or maybe we should preserve this World War II factory. I don't know. Something to look into. interesting rabbit hole, and that's basically what you're trying to find when you go to these 11 different websites. You are trying to find rabbit holes that you can look yourself at all the different angles and try to find the truth. Because you cannot just click on these articles and think that you're going to find the truth. You're not. Unfortunately, you have to spend the time if you really want to know what's going on. And so yeah, that's what I'm showing you in this video. Is 11 different websites. And please, this is not an extensive list. Please let me know in the comments down below what Michigan news sites that you peruse yourself and that I have not shown on here. I'm always looking for different news sites. The more information to process, the better. That way you're not tricked. You gotta trust yourself. Long Road Distillers launches statewide distribution of ready-to-drink cocktails. A West Michigan distillery is sending its ready-to-drink cocktails across the state. Well, there you go. Kind of an advertisement, but it's Michigan beer, so you're helping support local. Check it out. Meet people where they are. This is the most important lessons. The Delta Dental. Oh, this is sponsored. I'm sorry. See, you gotta pay attention. No, this is an ad, and it looks just like any of the other articles, but it does say sponsored. And each of these websites, they have the sponsored advertisements thrown in there. That looks very similar, but it's an ad. It looks similar to a news article. West Michigan's economy is a team sport. And then these all seem to be features of different people that I guess write the news. And then you go down, all the way down here is editor's pick. Trinity Health examines in-hospital virtual care model. West Michigan hospitals make top 1% in the United States. Health Grades this week released its 2023 top hospitals in 18 specialty areas, and several West Michigan hospitals made the list. Okay, interesting. And right next to it says heart procedures move out of Michigan hospitals for health systems that can eat the cost. So I find this interesting that these two are side by side. So then it makes me wonder, okay, what hospitals are making the top 1%? Does it have to do with the heart procedures? Because they're moving out of the hospitals now. So, Health Grades. Look at that. Corewell Health, Butterworth Hospital, America's 50 best cardiac surgery, best cardiac care, and cardiac care for state ranking award. So Butterworth Hospital in Grand Rapids is ranking the best on the cardiac care. Now you go back here and you go, okay, well, heart procedures move out of Michigan hospitals. Oops. Shit. There we go. On January 6th, the first heart catheterization procedure was performed outside of a hospital in Michigan. The procedure, which involves guiding a thin tube into a blood vessel to the heart to treat clogged arteries or irregular heartbeats, was the culmination of nearly 5 years of Dearborn-based Platinum Medical Group working with the State Certification of Need Commission and the Centers for Medical Services to be able to perform the procedure. The state con approved outpatient cardiac procedures and ambulatory surgery centers in September of 2021, a move supported by CMS. Oh, and then I have to read the full story somewhere else. I hate that. Especially when that website, you click on it and you need to pay. So, unfortunately, I won't know more. But it's not exactly coming out of the Corewell Health Butterworth Hospital, but the fact that they are putting heart procedures and moving them out of Michigan hospitals for money at a time when heart problems are for some reason at a high point. These are all things that like make me go, Basically, I'm wondering what's going on here. Holland Hospital, surgical care, orthopedic, and Kalamazoo Hospital. Two Kalamazoo hospitals. That's good to know. Some of the hospitals are doing very well. If you trust hospitals. You get a general idea of what the Grand Rapids Business Journal promotes on their, when you look at their front page. You know, they're, of course, worried about businesses in Grand Rapids, and since the healthcare system is so gigantic in Grand Rapids, it makes sense that a lot of them are talking about either schools or hospitals, and then restaurants. Ooh, Hibachi restaurant opens in downtown Grand Rapids. This came out December 27th, so it's been open for a month and a half now. New Japanese restaurant is open in downtown Grand Rapids. Looks awesome too. Check it out. Let me know if you do. Or if you have. I would love to check out that. I like hibachi. Developer reimagines vacant Muskegon property. So there's another one. A $220 million redevelopment project is heading toward Muskegon. Let's see really quick. What is it going to be? More housing? Parkland Properties last week said it acquired the Watermark Center in downtown Muskegon. The 15-acre site includes 730,000 square feet of buildings, which was formerly home of the Shaw Walker Furniture Company. Well, that's sad. It kind of reminds me of Jumanji. Instead of shoes, it was furniture. It closed in 1989. Wow. While there has been some development, including water park condominiums and the coffee factory, much of the space has remained vacant. Property is important. Let's see. Fix or remove the underdeveloped portion of the building. Project will restore the existing building and repurpose them into up to 550 condominiums and apartments. So there you go. More housing. Housing. Business Journal. That's the first stop. It has some good articles, some good rabbit holes, easy to maneuver. Next up, we have Mlive. How Mallory McMorrow became a fundraising force in Michigan politics. Campaign finance records illustrate for the first time not only how McMorrow's April 2022 speech capitulated her onto national political stage, Might be interesting. Good to know. A fundraising force, I suppose. At what cost? Michigan communities fight mega sites despite promise of jobs. Very interesting. Check that out. Let's see. 15 miles west of Lansing, a chunk of farmland roughly the size of 1,000 football fields could become a high-tech manufacturing site. In southwest Michigan, almost 1,900 rural acres have been pegged for potential development. These are mega sites. Mega sites are one way Michigan is trying to win major electric vehicle and semiconductor projects. Why? Why does Michigan want these sites? Each build-ready site is about 1,000 acres. I will be right back. I need to use the restroom real quick. Very sorry about that, y'all. Had way too much coffee this morning. Forgive me. Could not hold it. Alright. So, going back to this. At what cost? Michigan communities fight mega sites. Yes. Go down here and it says that they would like... Right here. Opponents say the proposed mega site is home to wildlife and rich agricultural land. A petition to protect Michigan's farmland and stop the mega site has been signed by more than 1,700 people, and a January township meeting was flooded with public comment on the project. Corey Arnett, a self-described barn lady who founded a preservation group called Barn Believers, also wants to protect 2 farmsteads on the property. It's sexy to politicians who want to quote the verbiage of economic development and jobs, she said. A proposal from opponents suggests that land be turned into a state park with hiking trails, camping sites, and an agricultural district. We're not against development, we're not against manufacturing, we're not against progress, but this is our proposal. We believe it's a better, healthier proposal for our community that creates jobs and attracts tourists. Despite objections, plans moved forward last week when the Marshall Township Board of Trustees approved 4 land transfers to the city of Marshall to hook up the megasite to utilities. But megasite prep doesn't guarantee development. Rather, they're a tool to attract big business as the state competes for electric vehicle and high-tech investments. Yes, that's the thing. They say that it'll bring thousands of jobs. They never bring thousands of jobs. In fact, majority of these megasites will be complete by 2030, 2032. Obviously, depends on when they get in, but after 2030, automation will be key for all of these manufacturing sites. So it's not going to bring jobs. They say it is, but it's not. China's already working on all their EV battery plants being automated. Robots. So what we need to ask ourselves, is this good for Michigan? Is this good? Is this necessary for Michiganders? We don't need luxury. I'm for America creating their own products, their own tech products. But I'm not for EV batteries, period. You look into cobalt and you'll know why. It brought back slavery. If it ever left there. But anyway, the EV battery market is terrible. So I'm not sure, but chips themselves, sure, yes, manufacture them in America. But Michigan is full of natural beauty, and there's tons of forest and wildlife, and the farmland should not be turned into luxury manufacturing. We need food. They're talking about food shortages. So we shouldn't be turning farmland that can produce food, which you need to survive, into huge buildings that have tons of chemicals in them that will probably get into our water sources. And nobody will be held responsible because that's how Michigan works. So we need to be very careful. It's one thing to want to bring jobs and create jobs and bring manufacturing here, but we need to make sure it's good manufacturing. And EV batteries, that doesn't fit the bill. Definitely a good article to look at. Let's see really quick what else we have. Was deputy's death an accident or something more sinister? Brian Wickham, 55, died on December 29th, 2021, 4 days after his girlfriend found him incapacitated and mortally injured. That seems really messed up. I would probably look into that normally. But I'm going to keep going because this is about giving you an overview, showing you different articles and how you can perhaps cross-reference, and basically how to find rabbit holes. So, Mlive is biased. That's a fact. Very pro-Whitmer, it seems. And I've been watching him for a while, but it is the #1 Michigan website for news, according to Google. which we all know you can trust that, but... Oh, and then Freep, the Detroit Free Press. I forgot, that's up there too, but I can't stand that rag, so it's not on this list. Sorry. That guy looks ridiculous with his mask on. There's plenty of science out there, again. And if you need research papers in science to know what you know in your gut, fine. You need experts to tell you. There are experts out there that created a study that shows masks are bad, okay? But again, common fucking sense. You're supposed to breathe in oxygen, not your old CO2. That's old oxygen. You're not supposed to be breathing that in. That's why you have a hard time breathing in it. Anyway. Alright. I think I've found enough on here. I'm not into sports at all. Sorry. And then I'm definitely not into the freaking celebrities. So, doesn't have that much today. Top news articles kind of suck. Gonna get rid of that. Let's get out of here too. They had something a little more interesting with their businesses. Gyms, which gyms never should have been. No business is unessential, first and foremost. But gyms especially. Eating right, exercising, and vitamin D, getting some sun, are the 3 ways to combat disease. So why would you close gyms? Oh yeah, let's get out of there. Alright, next. Sorry we're down at the bottom there a little bit because, again, I thought I was live for quite a while, so getting back into the flow. Michigan Capitol Confidential. This website is probably the most different of all the websites as far as biases go. I call them more libertarian, but people left-leaning would probably say this is right-leaning. I don't see it, but maybe I'm wrong, and I don't have any right-leaning. I don't have any Fox News on here, just so everybody's aware. You need to get every side of the story, but Fox News, CNN, like these legacy media, I don't go there. It's all lies. I could find the rabbit holes other places that have a little bit more integrity. Teeny tiny bit more, perhaps, in some cases. But, yeah. Under Democratic rule, Lansing is headed back in time. Ping pong, I don't know. Not that interesting. Michigan's coming energy crisis will be man-made. Now that, gotta check into that. Michigan's coming energy crisis will be man-made. Michigan's energy transition is a bait-and-switch move away from reliable energy. This was February 5th, yesterday. There exists enough resources to provide the 10 million people of our state the energy they need. What Michigan lacks is the political will to insist on reliable energy, preferring instead weather-dependent sources such as wind and solar. Michigan's coming energy crisis will be man-made. The resources of the future, said to be wind and solar, are not ready, while one of today's 2 energy sources, coal, is demonized and pushed to premature retirement. And here's the big thing. Why aren't we using water? There is so much water in Michigan. It's ridiculous. Why don't we use water energy, like dams? Make them more efficient. I never understood that. Coal shouldn't be relied upon as much as water. And solar and wind. Solar in Michigan, if you know anything about Michigan, you know that the sun sometimes doesn't shine for weeks. And if sunny California can't rely on solar, why the hell would frickin' dreary Michigan? I don't know. In Michigan's energy transition, coal is portrayed as public enemy number 1. The quicker we can all move past coal, the conventional wisdom says, the better. That's why only 1 coal plant will be operating here after 2028. State officials aren't sure the coal rollback will make a difference. Last year, the Michigan Department of Environment, Great Lakes, and Energy released its Michigan Healthy Climate Plan. The plan admits in the electric sector there is no automatic guarantee that retiring coal facilities and increasing use of other electric generation assets, current or future, will benefit Michigan communities. It's rare to see such an admission offered publicly. EGLE is saying that even Michigan conducts the immediate transition green energy advocates wish for. There's no promise it will work. The natural next question is, why do it? Well, if you read Creature from Jekyll Island, at the very end there's doomsday predictions. And it clearly states, well, the Club of Rome clearly states, and it's put into the doomsday predictions, that energy prices are too cheap in America. And instead of wanting everybody in the world to have cheap energy to make everyone prosperous, because energy is how you prosper, they want to bring America down. They want to bring energy prices up, which will bring America down. Why? You gotta ask yourself why. And you gotta look at the World Economic Forum, which the Club of Rome and the World Economic Forum, same thing. A bunch of anointed assholes with their vision, thinking they know better than everybody else. And they don't. This is Michigan energy policy in the 2020s. No automatic guarantee. That's tactic. Its tactic will work, but let's rush in headlong anyway. 4 of Michigan's top 10 energy generating facilities are coal-powered, according to 2021. After 2028, only one, Monroe, will be running. Oh. DTE. Yeah. EGLE says that by 2030, or 2 years later, Michigan will need infrastructure to support 2 million electric vehicles. Ask yourself, how many windmills and solar panels are needed to replace the energy now generated by coal? And have you seen anything to indicate efforts on that scale are underway? Well, and that's the thing, do you want them to be underway? Wind, especially, it takes up farmland, as we discussed earlier. It takes up a lot of farmland, and it kills bats and birds. And it's not because they run into it, it's because the pressure, when it's going, basically damages the lungs of these bats. It's terrible. And you want to put a bunch of these fucking ugly-ass industrial wind turbines up, and you think that's green? You think that's good for the environment? You think that's a good thing? It makes no sense to me. And you look at the mountains in California, and you think, oh, they're so beautiful, but you can't, because you see a bunch of fucking wind turbines. You know that maybe wind turbines, logic would say that maybe they're not a good idea. They're littering the earth. We're literally littering the earth with these giant industrial wind turbines. And when they break, you don't fix them. They go to a a wind turbine graveyard. That's the word I was looking for. A graveyard, like a plane graveyard they used to have at Edwards Air Force Base. Now you're going to have a turbine graveyard in Texas. I believe there's one in Texas right now. Why? Because you were told that it was good for the environment by experts? But you yourself can look and see, and you know that they're killing birds. The experts are saying it. I mean, when you go by a wind turbine, there's dead birds and dead bats. It's terrible. No study is needed when you see dead animals around the thing that, hey, maybe this isn't good for the environment. This isn't good for this plane of existence. This isn't good for Mother Earth and the creatures that we're supposed to be the stewards of. Anyway. This is my favorite website, I would say, because it's well thought out. It's like easy to navigate, basically. Well thought out, easy to navigate. They are the same thing. Yes. And you go down and they have really interesting articles that you're not going to find on any of the other websites. I will say that. All these other ones, you'll see a lot of crossover majority of the time. This one has different things going on, so I really dig that. Like Pork Fridays. I like that. In Escanaba, $200 million for a paper mill, but no new jobs required. That seems interesting. I think I clicked on that twice. Get rid of that one. Get rid of that one. Okay. Whoops. Sorry. Keep clicking all around. The paper mill does not have to create new jobs, only to retain its 1,200 person headcount as of October 2022. One of the first things Michigan's Democratic-led legislature did this year was to rush money, hundreds of millions of dollars, into corporate coffers. An appropriations bill of corporate welfare called for spending $946 million from taxpayers to various entities. Escanaba Mill, a paper mill, will receive $200 million. Senate Bill 7 was passed by a vote of 60 to 48 in the House and 24 by 14 in the Senate. 8 Republicans, 4 in each chamber, joined Democrats to approve the bill. Democrats have a 56 to 54 majority in the House and a 20 to 18 majority in the Senate. But still, you can see, they work together. When something needs to get done that's good for them both, they do. They work together, no problem. If it's good for you and I, they don't work together. Because they don't want anything good for us. That's how I feel. Sorry. That's my little bias. The government doesn't give a shit about you. Okay? They spend hundreds of thousands of dollars training people just to send them over to get obliterated, and they don't give a shit. They don't care about anything but their own goals. And if you have to be pushed aside, die, starve, freeze, whatever, they will do it. They don't care. Sorry if that's a fucking bias, spoiler alert, whatever. It's just the facts. A lot of my military buddies, they didn't care about them. They didn't care about all those in Afghanistan. They just don't care. So stop acting like they do. Please. Next up, I'm gonna go to Bridge, Michigan, because I started a half hour late on this live stream. I gotta catch up on time, unfortunately. And we gotta go to the next one. So, Bridge, Michigan, Michigan's nonpartisan nonprofit news source. Yeah, don't believe it. Nonpartisan. Very pro Whitmer, 99.9% of the time. I don't think I've seen anything anti-Whitmer on this site, but it could happen. Maybe I missed something, but for the most part, they're left-leaning, is what it is. Michigan loses 14,000 people a year to other states. It could be worse, and has. Yeah, it could be worse. That's the way to look at it if you're left-leaning. But if you're not left-leaning, which could be right-leaning because you'd be anti-Whitmer, because Whitmer's on the left, but I don't, that whole left-right, that's all the Matrix. But you can see the bias in the wording right off the bat, because guess what? It could be better. How's that? It could be better, but they're not going to say that because they're left-leaning, and it's a left government, okay? It's all blue here in Michigan now. So when they say things like it could be worse, that indicates they're biased to me. Because to me, it doesn't matter if you're left or right. We should be thinking, how do we not lose 14,000 people a year? Not that it could be worse. Oh, no, it could be better. We could actually bring in 14,000 people a year. And we do that by creating jobs, but not jobs that bring chemicals to our water. So we want jobs, we want industry, but we need to be selective about it, and there's no reason why we shouldn't be. Green houses, food, we need clean water, we need energy. Those are the jobs we want. Let's get dam workers here. Let's update our dams, and let's get hydro energy for everybody in Michigan. So then let us try to be the most self-sufficient state. Let's do that. That should be our goal. Not, it could be worse. I can't stand that, but it just shows the bias. Robust jobs market in January suggests economy not cooling as predicted. Inflation is still high, but job growth is too. Combined, they create a challenge for nation's monetary policymakers. Yeah. I think that job growth, I don't know. I'd have to look into that. I don't trust that at all. Deaths prompt transparency push for Michigan's Children's Protective Services. A Michigan senator wants to allow legislators and the media to access files investigating child abuse, but his efforts face an uphill battle. I wonder what's up with that, because of course, I'm for protecting the children, but do I think that a politician really wants to protect the children? I'm very cynical and skeptical about that. I hope, absolutely, I hope that that's what the intention is. But just like the Patriot Act was the most unpatriotic bill that ever could be created. Something like, oh, we're pushing for transparency to protect the children, could be, we're looking for transparency to screw the parents over, to try to take the children away, because the state is coming for your kids. Sorry. Sorry if you don't see it, but they are. So we have to be careful giving power to our government when they want to take control of our children. But we want to also protect the children, of course. So finding the balance and figuring out how we actually protect the children is important, but most of the time the road to hell is paved with good intentions. So gotta be careful with government reform. We should try to do privatized reform at all costs. Not to say that's applicable in that situation. Again, something to look into. A rabbit hole that you might want to look down. Tax rebates planned by Gretchen Whitmer, Democrats, as part of relief package. Governor and Democratic legislative leaders say inflation relief checks could be coming to all Michigan taxpayers. Whitmer also plans to expand earned income tax credit. Now, I said this before I went live, thought I was live, but the earned income tax credit. How about you just stop taking income tax? Or, I say income tax is theft. It is. But why is it that you're going to get an earned income tax credit? So they take the same amount of income tax, but then you get a credit back that's more. How about you just stop taking the income tax? Because government wants your money to play with before they give it back. And they want to take from some and give to others. And who are they? How are they efficient? Who are they to say? How do they know who needs the money taken from them and who to give it to? Spoiler alert, they don't. They just steal your money and mismanage it left and right. That's what the government does best. Mismanagement. Northern Michigan towns embrace marijuana, while many suburbs still opt out. Marijuana access in Michigan remains uneven, as several votes to allow the sale of recreational pot had mixed results in recent months. Yeah, well, at first I was for and I still am to a certain extent, but the recreational marijuana shops, or just pot shops in general, are everywhere. And it's not just one. It's like in Big Rapids, I think there's like 3 or 4. You just need one. Okay. I understand competition drives down prices, so in that case. But the problem is these shops are highly subsidized by taxpayers. And so again, you are incentivizing with government taxpayer dollars, because government doesn't make money. And you're incentivizing a certain type of business. And so, like, we could use a bookstore in Big Rapids. We don't need 5 pot shops. I don't know exactly how many. There's just a lot, okay? Almost all these places that are allowing a pot shop, there's tons. And again, we could use other industries, but those other industries aren't being supported by the government with subsidies. They aren't being supported by taxpayers with subsidies. So, we're not getting a bookshop. We're not getting, I don't know right now off the top of my head. There's a lot of industries that could be used in Big Rapids that they don't have a single one. And instead we have a bunch of the same type of industry. And that, again, is government coming in. So keep government out of private business. Allow marijuana shops to be open. Sure, yeah, absolutely. But don't incentivize it. And yeah, that's it. I'm not going to keep going. Michigan Democrats seek to codify LGBTQ civil rights protections. Newly empowered Michigan Democrats are advancing a bill to protect against discrimination based on sexual orientation or gender identity. Okay, I'm going to translate. Newly empowered Michigan Democrats are advancing a bill to tell business owners what they can and cannot do, to enforce government on business, to make private business not private at all, and have the public fingers involved. It shouldn't be. If I want to open up a bookstore and I don't want to hire somebody, it's my bookstore. It's not the government's bookstore. And if me not hiring somebody makes you not buy my product, well, then you are using your voice in a productive way, or your wallet. You don't have to buy from me if it offends you that I won't hire certain people. That's your right, but it's my right to open up a business and hire who the hell I want to hire. And to pay them whatever the hell we agree upon. This minimum wage bullshit. Again, it's government getting involved in private business, and that should never be. And the only reason we have monopolies is because of government getting involved and creating barriers to entry, thus eliminating competition. I love human beings, okay? People in the LGBTQ community are human beings. And I love them because they are a human being. But if I want to discriminate, if I want to hire somebody, or don't want to hire somebody, rather, because of their gender identity, that is my right. You might not like my decision, but it should be my decision to make. What is Michigan's free pre-K program for 4-year-olds? Q&A with an expert. Oh, you know what? That makes me think of school. So, if I run a private school and I don't want to hire a teacher because they are a man that thinks that they're a woman somehow, even though you have no idea what it's like to be a woman, and vice versa. But if I don't want to hire a man that thinks that they're a woman because I, in my private school, don't want a teacher that doesn't understand that they're a man, and that I don't want someone that's confused teaching at my school. That should be my right. And the kids need to be, yeah, it's keep the government out of business. What is Michigan's free pre-K program? Yeah, okay. Michigan tax refund 2023. How long does it take? And other questions. Gretchen Whitmer wants free preschool for all, but is Michigan ready? Universal pre-K is good for kids and the economy, but it's expensive, and the state faces several hurdles, including teacher shortages and a lack of transportation options for 4-year-olds. Yeah, you trust your 4-year-old to a government school? A public school is a government school, since No Child Left Behind. And yeah, it's good for the economy. That's the whole point. Get both parents working. Nobody to raise the children. That's why we're in the state that we're in. Michigan Teacher Union back to right to work repeal, through though it won't help them. Michigan tax cut deal could emerge next week. It's messy. Detroit opens 2 24-hour warming centers amid frigid temperatures. 5 warming centers and several Detroit Public Library branches are available for Detroiters who need a respite from the cold. That's really shows you the state of the state and the state of America. It's not just Michigan, but Michigan is worse off thanks to the tyrant for the last 4 years that we've had. Medicaid review could drop $400,000. Michigan residents dollars. I'm sorry. Let me reread that. Medicaid review could drop 400,000 Michigan residents from coverage. Beginning April 1st, Michiganders must once again prove Medicaid eligibility, following years of protection from cutoffs during the pandemic. Many will likely lose coverage, even though they qualify because they don't fill out the right form. Alright, well, you get a general idea of what they have to offer. Oh, look at the trending. Governor Gretchen Whitmer. I'm going to click this really quick, see what they got going on. Democrats out of power for decades, passing bills in record time in Lansing, January 31st. Oh, man. No checks and balances. It's never a good thing. Again, I am not a Republican. I think that the left-right paradigm is all part of the matrix, and they're left and right, the same bird, however you want to say it. I don't trust either side. They're both internationalists that are not working for the people that they're supposed to be working for. Us, we the people. They work for lobbyists, which normally consists of companies that are international. It's crazy. But the fact that we don't have any checks and balances, no one that's at least pretending to stop Democratic bills, pretending to stop them. Yeah, everything's just going to be pushed through. So, gun laws, education laws, more government, bigger government, bigger government. That's what we can expect for the next 4 years. Just gigantic, oppressive government. So, congratulations. Not that I think your vote counts whatsoever, so I'm not going to blame the people. But, yeah, I'm not going to go down that road. Michigan tax cut deal could emerge next week. Okay, yeah, I already read that. Opinion. Michigan energy policy should be driven by an energy jobs agenda. Jobs related to renewable energy, electric vehicles, energy efficiency, and batteries have been among the fastest growing parts of Michigan's economy in recent years, but lawmakers must act on outdated policies to achieve full growth. Of course. Of course. Can more cash transform Michigan's middling schools? We may find out soon. I will give you a spoiler. No, of course not. More money thrown at the problem is not going to help. It's just going to be mismanaged. The problem is the people, the teachers themselves, are coming out of these woke-ass colleges and teaching our children woke-ass shit. They themselves, it's so funny, these kids coming out of college, they themselves, some of them use the word breeder, you know, they're anti-breeder and cisgender and like, and they themselves don't want to have children because the world's overpopulated and all this bullshit that they believe. And yet they go to teach your kids. You see the conflict of interest there? They're against having children, and yet their job is to teach children. It's all very dangerous, what we're doing. And so the answer is, there's a couple, but number one, stop lying. That's the number one answer to all our problems. Start telling the truth. If you don't know the truth, look for it, but at least stop telling lies. That is how we are where we are. That's how communist Russia got to be where communist Russia went, with tens of millions dead. because people were willing to lie to others, but to themselves most of all. So please stop lying. Democrats out of power for decades, passing bill, yeah, okay. Business group, extend tax cuts to more seniors, Michigan Whitmer on guns. The time for only thoughts and prayers is over. Better watch out. Better watch out. You're supposed to trust the government. Police. You're supposed to trust the police to protect you. No? You can't trust the police? Well, then how are you supposed to protect yourself if you don't have a gun? Women. How are you supposed to equalize against a man without a gun? They come at you to kill you. If a man goes after a woman to kill them, and the woman doesn't have a gun, the chances of a man killing the woman are like 99 to 1. Don't quote me on that. Gretchen Whitmer, State of the State, tax cuts, gun reform, expand pre-K. Well, they're doing it. Alright, I'm out of here. Get out of here. Get out of Bridge, Michigan. I'm going to 13 on your side. WZZM 13 on your side. This is local, but yeah, it's ABC. So maybe that's why I don't like it. I don't know. This website is not easy to navigate. I do not like the layout whatsoever. I like that it's in dark mode, but the layout is junk. And so I'm going to be honest, I don't stay here very often. Let's see. Yeah, a lot of more stories, and then there's no picture. I know it seems silly, but I like how all those other websites, you see a picture next to it, you get a general idea of what's going on. I don't know. I like pictures, okay? This is bullshit. Grand Rapids toy seller ordered to halt business, comply with AG's office following 13 on your side's investigation. Alright, I'm gonna look into that. What the hell's going on there? Dog found in Michigan, reunited with Florida owner 7 years after being stolen. Oh, that's sad. That's really sad for the dog, too, because now the dog lost the first owner, now lost the second. It's messed up. Irish on Ionia pre-sale tickets available this weekend. Hobcat is hosting the popular Irish on Ionia event with a full day of music, food, and beer on Saturday, March 18th from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. Huh. That seems really cool. Maybe I'll go check that out. Look at that. Local news. Did something good. 2 in custody in Gaines Township shooting that injured 1. Sorry if you hear my dog barking. Every now and again, he's silly. Let's see. News? Oh, local. Let's see. If I click local news, Muskegon County woman wins over $300,000 in New Year's Eve lottery. 65-year-old winner plans to use the money for home renovations and to take a cruise. Oh, well, that's pretty stupid. Sorry. No, that's totally, you do you. You do you, boo-boo. I would never go on a cruise. I never really liked boats, ships, whatever. Never really liked them anyway. That's why I did not join the Navy. I joined the Air Force, even though I wanted to travel. I was afraid to be stuck on a ship. And so, no way. But especially after 2020, when people were stuck on a cruise ship for months. Hell no. Would I ever be caught dead on a cruise? No pun intended. I thought I was alone. Duo runs popular Facebook page, Festival of West Michigan Witches. 2 West Michigan women created a unique festival to bring together a community, or rather a coven. Oh, jeez. Yeah, okay. So if you go to news and you go to local, there's some interesting things here. I take back what I said. This stuff I never would have found. Obviously, I didn't find anywhere else. So, that's interesting. Grand Haven woman set to hike the Appalachian Trail in its entirety. That's cool. I watch Grand Haven woman. Oh, before you leave. Ottawa County Sheriff's Office Investigating traffic stop and crash that left 26-year-old hospitalized. Lizzo, who cares? Who cares about celebrities? Yeah, let's see. Black History Month events in West Michigan. Christmas blizzard, yeah. Belgian-style food and family fun to Lakeshore, new Grand Haven restaurant. That's good to know. It's urgent and scary. Grand Rapids woman looking for kidney donor. Alright, let's check these out really quick and then we'll move on. Grand Rapids toy seller ordered to halt business, comply with AG's office following 13 on-your-side investigation. Attorney General Dana Nessel moved forward with an investigation after 13 on-your-side looked into the business. A Grand Rapids toy seller is ordered to halt operations. Dozens of complaints have been filed against Grand Rapids-based Planetary Toys, LLC, which does business as Treasure Trove Toys. Attorney General moved forward with the investigation on Wednesday. The order revealed he operated similar business under multiple names in other states in the past. Effective immediately, must cease and desist operations and will no longer be able to sell toys online for the next 5 years. Assurance of voluntary compliance order. Okay, sorry, I missed it. Accused of violating Michigan's Consumer Protection Act.
We begin tonight with an update to a 13 on...
Okay, the complaints demonstrate that the website routinely charges consumers for purchases, but then fails to send them items purchased. Some consumers indicate that while they did receive an item, it is not the item they ordered, but rather a less valuable item, such as an ordinary toy as opposed to a special edition toy. A fucking scammer. You're a dumb piece of shit scammer. 2 West Michigan women created a unique festival to bring together a community or a coven. Yeah, okay. 2 West Michigan women created a unique festival to bring community together. We have a crystal vendor, we have books, we have brooms. Katrina Peshka and Frankie are the minds behind the Witches of West Michigan Festival that drew a crowd on South Division Sunday. They've been by each other's side for 20 years. Their friendship actually began in a chat room, surprisingly not about witches. It was about Star Wars, actually. The festival celebrates the halfway point between the winter solstice and the spring equinox, meaning West Michigan is inching closer to longer days. This is absolutely something that anybody can celebrate. I thought it was going to be like me and 80 other people sort of sharing memes all day. Today, the group has nearly 3,000 members on Facebook. This helped them realize there was a demand for witch-related activities in West Michigan, and with Peshka's day job being event planning, they knew they could create something remarkable. Huh. That's pretty cool. Witches of West Michigan, unite!
A Grand Rapids woman asking for the public's help
to
save...
sorry. Get that out of here. It's urgent and scary. Grand Rapids woman looking for kidney donor. Because of her medical history, McKay cannot do traditional or stomach dialysis, and she only has about 3 months before things could get worse. It's really sad. I hope she finds a kidney. A West Michigan woman is asking for the public's help to save her. Because she's got stage 5 kidney disease and has only so many more months before her body may begin to fail her. So she's reaching out in hopes someone can give her a gift unlike any other. I'm exhausted all the time. I'm super tired and I can't live a normal life. Oh, I'm really sorry for her. If anybody wants to help her or know somebody willing to give a kidney, I'm sure you contact WZZM13. They'll link up with you. There are not many options. I've learned in this past year that sometimes you have to do things in life that you don't want to do, but you have to do it because you got to keep on keeping on, and there's no other option. Well, I will pray for this woman, send positive thoughts, whatever. Sending positive vibes and prayer, the same damn thing. In case you didn't know, I know people are adverse to prayer, but you're okay with sending positive vibes. So, same. Alright, I'm out of here. I'm out of this WZZM 13. Had some good stuff. Some very local stuff. But overall, not my favorite website still. It's still one you should check out, though. You never know what you're gonna find. Oh, here we go. MidMichiganNow. It says Fox. I did not know that. Kind of like the ABC was WZZM 13. I guess MidMichiganNow, Fox is behind. So there you go. A little bit of a right lean, obviously. Well, Fox News is right leaning, but it's still owned by Vanguard. So CNN, MSNBC, Fox News, all owned by the same company. That should give you a key as to what's going on. But let's check it out anyway. Fire department calls 2 Flint house fires only 1 block away from each other suspicious. National gas prices average falls for first time in 2023. Man dies after ice sailboat crash in Oakland County. That sucks. U.S. military shoots down the spy plane. The Chinese spy balloon, I mean. And verify for me that's a Chinese spy balloon. Do you trust what they're saying? United Way partners with IRS to help families file taxes for free. Yeah. Oh, Genji restaurant in Midland burned down. That sucks. New Michigan 2024 presidential primary shift leaves election plans up in the air. That seems interesting because it's world news, but also Michigan news. Oh, I don't care about sports or entertainment, so news. Let's check this out really quick. Lansing, Michigan. While the 2024 presidential election may feel a long way out, in Michigan, the clock is ticking for clerks and lawmakers who are working out plans to move the state toward an earlier presidential primary. Michigan Democrats continue to advocate to move next year's presidential primary up, making Michigan the 5th state in the nation to vote for the president and falling in line with the Democrat National Committee plan to reorganize the states that get to vote first. Legislative Republicans have expressed concern over the change to the election schedule because, among other reasons, it could cause Republicans to lose delegates nationally due to Republican National Committee rules. Picking states off one by one to structure it to an individual candidate's advantage is dishonest, disingenuous, and disenfranchising. That's a lot of diswords. On Wednesday, Governor Gretchen Whitmer signed a bill moving the primary up to February 27, 2024. Don't know why I got the country accent. However, since Republicans voted against the bill, it did not receive enough support to go into effect immediately. Without enough support, state law requires the bill to go into effect 90 days after the legislative session ends. With that law in place, it means the primary date rule could not go into effect in time for the February primary. Oh, jeez. A bunch of bullshit. Trying to manipulate voting. Further proof that your vote doesn't really count. I'm out of here. Holland Sentinel. I'm sorry if I didn't get enough. Give enough time to MidMichigan, but it's not my favorite. We'll go and we're running out of time since I started 30 minutes behind. Holland Sentinel.com. Bed Bath & Beyond to close location in Holland Township. Not surprised. They did a round of closures like a month and a half ago. And then they're doing a second round because it wasn't enough. So, Bed Bath & Beyond, not doing well at all, but maybe they'll have some good sales. Maybe we should check that out. And nearly lights out. It's nearly lights out for incandescent light bulbs. Governor Whitmer proposal, a $180 check for every Michigan taxpayer. Oh my God. $180. What the hell is that supposed to do? Does that even pay for an electric bill or a gas bill for some people? I mean, jeez. Sending out a check, and who's, like, it's just... It sounds like such a waste of money. How about stop taxing us to death? How about that? Instead of giving us checks, how about you just stop taking our money? Instead of taking our money and then, oh, here's a little bit back for you. Here you go. Here's a little crumb. Thanks for the pizza. Oh, I hate that one. Thank you for the hamburger. But now you can have this chip. Thanks for the piece of pizza. You can have half of the piece of crust. How about stop stealing my food? Stop stealing my money. How about that? And then, oh, I'm so thankful. Thank you so much for giving me my money back. A little measly bit of it. Thank you so much for sending majority of it over to Ukraine. Or doing God knows what else. Taking people's houses because they didn't pay your freaking taxes. Even though their house has been paid off for years. Yeah. Nearly lights out. Okay. Sports, whatever. Entertainment, whatever. Life, whatever. That's a nice stash, dude. Nice stash. John Lundstrom named Holland's on-call firefighter of the year. Hey, dude. Nice stash. The used clothing store will open soon in rapidly growing shops at West Shore. Feeling a bit gray. I wonder why. Is it because Bed Bath & Beyond to close? I only get 2 a month for Holland Sentinel. So, I guess I'm done with Holland Sentinel. Because I don't pay. I won't pay for news. Wow. The closure list updated includes locations in Ann Arbor, Auburn Hills. Wow. Grand Rapids, the one on 28th Street is closing. Let's see. Saginaw, Bay Road. I don't really know that. The only one I know is Grand Rapids. But look out for your Bed Bath & Beyond closure. Maybe you can get a good deal. Yeah, alright. Holland, really? Let's see. News. Click news. We'll click local news, because that's what we want. Businesses, residents celebrate first ever Holland on Ice on 8th Street. Did that already happen? Oh. Alright, I'm out of here, since I can't look at them anyway. Bye, Felicia. Fremont Tribune. Okay, this. As you can see right off the bat, it's not local. Why is the very top article not a local article when it's called... Oh, because this isn't a Fremont, Michigan news site. And I'm just a dummy. I kept it on here even though I found out. I think this is Fremont somewhere else. And I'm a big dummy. Let's see. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm sorry. I should know better. Yeah. Nebraska, Fremont, Nebraska. That's a big mistake from me. Gotta find a different news, because that's like the 3rd or 4th time that I've gone to that website thinking it's Fremont news, Fremont, Michigan, and it's Fremont, Nebraska. It's just folly. Michigan radio. This is definitely Michigan news, okay? No doubt. No doubt. Michigan news report more patients dying due to understaffing, poll finds. This is obviously not good. Why are they understaffed? Nurses across the state say dangerous levels of understaffing are becoming the norm, even though hospitals are no longer overwhelmed by COVID-19 patients. Didn't we fire a lot of nurses because they wouldn't do what the hell you told them to do? You being the medical industry, the government, the Fed forced our nurses to either get the jab or get the fuck out. And now we wonder why there's understaffing. It's like you kicked all of the nurses that could think for themselves. You kicked them out. And the ones that stayed are injured. In some cases. Not all. They're not doing so hot. So that's why we're understaffed. It's not because there wasn't enough nurses, it's that we fired half of the nurses. In the middle of a pandemic. What sense does that make? What really happened is they fired people that thought for themselves. The ones that didn't just follow orders. They got rid of them, and now all that's left are order followers. That's exactly what they wanted. And it's sad because more patients are dying due to understaffing. And that's not just in Michigan, but Michigan nurses are reporting this. This is definitely an article I gotta look at. Did I already click it? Yes. This was February 1st, so just a couple days ago. When Tara arrived for a recent shift at McLaren Central Michigan Hospital in Mount Pleasant, she realized she was the only nurse working in the ICU. But she didn't have time to panic. Her 3 patients all needed her attention immediately. One was recovering from surgery, and 2 were in critical condition. Hooked up to multiple IV drips, dispensing medications that had to be continuously adjusted. You can cause serious harm if you put the wrong numbers on the IV drips. Of course, yeah. With the help of a nurse's aide, she also needed to discharge the patient recovering from surgery and educate them on the follow-up care and medication they need to manage at home. It was a frantic 12-hour shift. You go to the bathroom and you almost have a little freak-out moment about if I go, something could happen. Everything's quick when you feel the sense of responsibility. There have been numerous days when I felt like I did a horrible job, but I did the best that I could, and it's not necessarily that I did a horrible job and something medically affected the patient, but I like to make them feel comfortable, make them feel important, make them educated like they want to be. Right. It makes sense, right? Logic says because she's the only one, she doesn't have enough time with her patients. Just like now, doctors used to have 30 minutes. That's it. You get 30 minutes. Well, now you only get 15 minutes. Look into it. So a doctor gets 15 minutes with you and then they have to go on to the next. It's fast. What can you learn about a patient in 15 minutes? And what do the doctors even know about you anymore? My mother-in-law is 88 years old. And her doctor used to know her. Her doctor used to stop at her house. Crazy, right? Stop at her house to say, hey, Sylvia, how you doing? How was the surgery? How was that? How was your ankle? Anything. How are your kids? It was a family doctor that knew you and had invested and knew your history and everything. And how is that not better? Logically, you know it's better. The system that we have now is business. It's about money. It's not about actually healing people, helping people. And you can blame that on capitalism, but I'm sorry, your communism, if you look into it, communism just means you give the government, the state, all the power. How does that make any sense? It's completely illogical. So blame capitalism all you want, but it's capitalism with government interference that has got us to this point. As well as spiritually, we have no values, no morals, postmodernist bullshit. How do you know what the truth? There is no truth. It's my truth. It's your truth. All this has led us to this road of ruin that we are on. And you could say it's ultimately, like Nietzsche said, Nietzsche, whatever, the death of God. It's because we don't have something outside of man to aspire to. And man is obviously flawed. Obviously. I feel sorry for nurses that have stayed behind. I feel sorry for them because they got forced to do something that they may not have wanted to do, which is absolutely evil. And now the ones that did comply are by themselves. They should have, let's say, 5 people on the floor, and they only have 1. I've never been a nurse. I've never worked in the hospital, but I did work for a while at Starbucks. There's no shame in my game. I worked at Starbucks as a shift manager, and when they started cutting costs and giving us 4 people when we needed 7, it was a nightmare. And this is just the service industry, obviously. This isn't healthcare, okay? But still, I cared about the people that came in. I became friends with a lot of the customers. I enjoyed talking to them. You can't do that if there's only 4 people and there's supposed to be 7. It's, hi, thank you, bye. Hi, thank you, bye. Next. I don't have time to talk to you. I don't have time to smile at you. You're paying $10 for a cup of coffee and you don't get the interaction with the barista anymore like you used to. That was why you paid $10 for the coffee. That was part of it. And now it's in out. Your drive-through times better be 7 seconds or whatever crazy bullshit they have. It's a nightmare. You want to know why you're sitting at the window where you ordered and you already ordered? You're still sitting there? Oh, wait 1 moment for your total? It's because they need the drive-through time from when you order to when you get to the window and leave. That needs to be quick. So now they're just basically maneuvering around that bullshit standard. I am comparing Starbucks with nursing only in the fact that I am aware that the customer, the patient in this case, does not get the care that they need or the attention that they need and the people that want to give it to them. Like, I wanted to talk to the customers that came into Starbucks. I wanted to be able to spend a few minutes on the side talking to them if they had something they wanted to share, because they're my friends too, as well as the customer. Can't do that when you're understaffed. You can't make them feel comfortable, make them feel important, or educate them in the way that they want if you're by yourself and you have a plethora of duties that you need to do in your 12-hour shift. And then you wonder why your nurse is tired, and I'm sure your nurse has some kind of prescribed medication themselves to help them get through all this shit. And with all that, you can't trust your healthcare system, and that's not this woman's fault. Directly. I mean, all nurses should have stuck together and said, no, you're not gonna fire us. Yeah. It's because we complied and we acquiesced and we allowed it to happen. So in a way, it is her fault. And it's everybody's fault for allowing it to happen, but especially the people that, as a nurse, you guys are in a nursing union, right? Why the hell wouldn't you be like, you're not doing that? Because if you fire half the staff, we ain't gonna be able to get them back. We're gonna be short-staffed. So, by keeping your mouth shut because it didn't affect you because you complied, now you are screwed. So now it does affect you. Even though you didn't think it did, now it does. And so that's why you need to talk. That's why I am here talking to you, embarrassing myself in front of a camera. Because I think it's really important for us to talk and to tell the truth and to not be afraid to tell the truth, because that is how you get communist Russia and tens of millions of people dead. By telling lies, lying to yourself, or not saying anything at all, allowing half your staff to be fired because they wouldn't do what you want. No, you're a union. Band together. And that's all I'm going to say on that. I feel really bad for people that need to go to the hospital nowadays. I am lucky that I'm young, and hopefully I don't, cut my arm off in some terrible accident or anything crazy, knock on wood, I don't want to go to the hospital. I avoid the hospital at all costs. I think the hospital is one of the most dangerous places to be nowadays. And it's terrible that it's come to that. But what will happen is, if I could find the book, I'm sorry, I was looking for a book, but it's not around. Power to the Powerless, I think is what it's called. What will happen, what needs to happen, is alternative systems need to be formed, and that's what the internationalists are trying to stop. All of the people, all the nurses and doctors that are not vaccinated, that got fired, you need to open up your own practice together and have an unvaccinated doctors and nurses area. And you know, I think that in a year from now, everyone will know that you don't want to have a surgeon who's vaccinated. You don't want to be open on the table and something were to happen unexpectedly and your doctor just collapses while there's a scalpel in your heart. So I think that there is definitely a market. And so we need these doctors and nurses to get together and create a parallel system. They can still be doctors and nurses, and there is a market for it. Just like there's a market for unvaccinated blood and unvaccinated pilots. And if I can't say the V word, I don't care if I'm monetized or not. This channel is about telling the truth. Once again, I don't want to be censored. Now, of course, I want my reach to get out there, but not at any cost. 2/3 of nurses polled said they were aware of medical errors, such as wrong medication, wrong dosage, or missed meds, due to nurses being required to care for too many patients. Nearly 70% reported infections or other complications for a patient due to chronic understaffing. Yeah, 70%. You get an infection because you don't have the right care. And all because they fired the unvaccinated. Good job. Good job. Alright, Michigan Radio, what else do we have? Pressures from climate change could challenge agreements safeguarding Great Lakes water. One man's fight. Let's see. Right to renew could be a line of defense against Detroit evictions. How does it work? Oh gosh. Again, get government involved. Doing price control for rent. Terrible for those who saved up their money and bought a piece of rental property, a property specifically to rent out. And now the government is telling you how much you can and cannot rent your property for. You bought it. Government didn't buy it. You bought it. You saved up. You got the mortgage. Whatever. You took the risk to get the property. And now you don't have a say on who gets evicted, like who you can have as a tenant. If they do something wrong, if they can get kicked out, the government's getting their sticky little fingers in all this. And supposedly to protect the people. Of course, there needs to be a balance. We should not have people on the streets and have empty homes and empty apartment buildings. But that balance does not mean government interference. That's never the answer. That always creates 10 more problems. Every time there's a solution, 10 more problems. Trust me. Oh, let's see. The group announced that there would be a petition seeking support to right to renew. People having to move, having to pay that cost to move, and the trauma that they go through, being evicted and having to move out with a certain time while other things going on in their life. I think it creates a better sense of community in Detroit for the tenants. That's something this administration says they want, to keep Detroiters in Detroit, but they keep letting these landlords evict Detroiters. Eviction filings in the city were projected to reach pre-pandemic levels. According to November report by the University of Michigan's Poverty Solutions, the report said the rate of court filings suggested 61,000 people would face the threat of eviction. It's gotten uglier and uglier. More people are getting evicted. We got seniors who are homeless. We got single parents with kids who are homeless. Not a few, lots and lots more. than there were even a few months ago. Obviously, that's a problem. I don't want that. We need to find a solution that doesn't involve government mandates. They're just saying, I want you out, and part of the idea there is so they can re-rent the unit at a higher price. But the other thing we're seeing is landlords are using that to retaliate. So if the tenants make complaints about conditions or request repairs or complain to the city about conditions, try to organize with other tenants, try to work together, landlords will bring termination actions in retaliation to evict them. Yeah. Very complex issue. I'd have to go down the rabbit hole and try to find a solution. And again, I know that the problem does need needs to be evaluated. We need to figure out how to fix this, because we don't want homeless seniors and we don't want homeless, period. We don't want homeless. Doesn't matter if they're old, young, we do not want homeless people. That's sad, it's messed up. But you can't just keep putting government regulations as a solution, because 10 more problems will pop up. So I'll have to look into that. I feel really bad, obviously, for people that are facing those situations. Yeah. Terrible for both sides. It's terrible for landlords, but it's also obviously terrible for tenants. But, you know, if a tenant is a terrible tenant and you don't want to rent to them anymore, you shouldn't have to. So, finding a balance. Alright. UP foraging with Chef Ileana Reagan. Stateside podcast. It's electric, the future of EVs for Michigan roads and automakers. Oh, let's close that and let's see here. For years, the star chef Ileana Reagan was tormented by the incredible amount of electricity and water restaurants use. It was keeping her up at night, so she left behind the buzzing Chicago culinary scene for a quieter life in the woods in the Upper Peninsula. I get to be out there and forage and grow my own things. I can't say that I necessarily sleep better at night, but there's part of me that, you know, isn't having to always think of some of those things that really weighed on me at the restaurants. Reagan has documented her new, slower-paced life in the Michigan field work. Slower-paced life in the book Fieldwork, A Forager's Memoir, and it brings forward the story of Reagan's life in the Upper Peninsula. I have not posted it yet. I'm waiting for my husband to finish the song that I want to put in the background, but I need to put it out soon. I did a 23 books, nonfiction books, that are being released in the year 2023 that you need to look out for, and this is one of them. It came out in January, I believe. Let me look really quick. There. I love the cover. It's a beautiful cover. Hopefully none of... Oh gosh, it is. Gotta be careful with that. Don't want to give any personal information. I'm a noob. A Forager's Memoir. She and her wife founded the small bed and breakfast Milkweed Inn in Nama Township in 2019. So, check out the book. Check out the memoir. I'm going to, for sure. I do judge books by its cover. I don't just read beautiful books, but I like when a cover is beautiful, and I think that cover is really nice, so check out Michigander's book. Hell yeah. Latest stories. Gen Z's political power. New data gives insight. Egg prices drop, but the threat from avian flu isn't over yet. Alright, well, checked out Michigan radio. It's pretty good. News. It doesn't have local news. Alright, last but not least, Reddit. there's two different Reddits here. There's Reddit, just Michigan Reddit, and then there's the subreddit Michigan Politics. I like to look in here because basically Reddit just synthesizes. It's just bringing articles from all over the web potentially to a Michigan focused subreddit. So you could find things that normally you wouldn't be privy to thanks to Reddit. Now, Reddit is extremely biased, just like most, biased towards the left. So you have to keep that in mind. I can't comment at all on the Michigan subreddit. I did once and got banned for 180 days, I think it was. So I don't post, I just find articles. But right off the bat, Iowa dethroned Michigan's currently first Midwestern state to vote in the Democratic primaries. That's interesting. So I'd click that one. And it's NBC Chicago. See, this has Wikipedia. Wikipedia is not a good source. Definitely, you know, you can scan it, but don't trust anything really in it. So maybe it'll give you a rabbit hole to go down to verify. But yeah, don't trust a thing on Wikipedia. 1978, the imaginary towns of Bedoso and Gublu were briefly added in Ohio to the official Michigan map. That's weird. Doctor disciplined in 7 states for medical errors, still practicing in Michigan. That's what I'm talking about. Didn't see that anywhere. Did you see it on all those sites? I didn't see shit. Doctor disciplined in 7 states. Brian Scott Dutcher Sr., a 34-year-old father of 5 from Sheboygan? No, I don't think so. I don't know how you say that. Died in 2002, about a week after the radiologist who read the initial CT scan of his brain missed signs of a massive infection. Multiple ring-like lesions suggestive of abscesses. Rather than treating him, he was released from the hospital in Pigeon and told to take Tylenol for his headache. Oh, okay, so Dutcher and Jensen have one man in common. Okay, Jensen, 76, of Bethlehem, New Hampshire, had breast cancer that a radiologist missed on repeated mammograms. By the time it was discovered, Jensen said her cancer had advanced to stage 3. They have one man in common, Dr. Mark Guilfoyle, a diagnostic radiologist who got his medical degree in '84 from Michigan State University and has practiced 35 years both in Michigan and New Hampshire. He interpreted the scans, reporting them as normal when they were not. He has been the subject of at least 13 malpractice lawsuits, 12 of which settled in one court. One was dismissed. The bulk of malpractice cases are tied to his failure to spot evidence of breast cancer in the mammograms as many as a dozen women dating from 2015 to 2017. Wow. So he's not very good at his job, and he's working here in Michigan. Let's go. Oh God. Jeez. Oh, and there's even comments on Yahoo. Wow. Mom had knee replacement. Okay. So, yeah, look out for this guy. If he's your radiologist, don't trust him to catch anything. How's that? Hiking and geocaching in Holland. Ooh, look at that picture. That's another reason I like to go to Michigan subreddits. They have beautiful pictures. Some people are really good. Oh. Nah. That first one was excellent. The rest of these... Oh, a geocache. The rest of these are alright. That one, though, that's awesome. I think that looks really cool. Whoever that is. Adventure Coalition. Posted that. DNR to accept comment on proposed Camp Grayling expansion. Took my drone to the beautiful Upper Peninsula. What a gorgeous place. Look at that. It is really pretty. Michigan. Wow. we do live in a beautiful state. I love Michigan. We have a lot of problems, just like every other state. But right now, we've got big problems because Gretchen Whitmer is a big dog. She's a big bitch in this fight, obviously. She got to go to Davos. Her and old Illinois boy over there, that POS governor. Wow, that one's gorgeous. But yeah, ooh. Yeah. Illinois, Michigan, our governors went over and spoke at Davos. So that tells you who they work for. But that doesn't mean the state of Michigan ain't gorgeous and a good place to live. The summer, of course, is way better than the winter, but you get used to it, I guess. Oh, look at that. Ice skating. Wow, you can see underneath the ice, the sand. Pretty. Lots of pictures. 3 men broke into abandoned UP mine, took hundreds of pounds of copper. Okay, last one, and then I gots to go. Gotta go make lunch for the mother-in-law. 3 men broke into abandoned UP mine, took hundreds of pounds of copper, DNR says. You know, what's actually fascinating is the comments. I wonder if they'll be tried as adults or as minors. You'll have to ask the coppers. I think it's punny, okay? I like puns. They make me laugh usually out loud, but I have seen those already, so I didn't laugh out loud this time. But I want to know your thoughts on this mine. As the title says, 3 men broke into abandoned mine. You can read the details, but do you think this mine was abandoned since 1989? And it's not on anybody's property. It's state land. So, is it wrong? I mean, it's abandoned. If they are willing to do the work to mine the copper and nobody else is doing it, why not? I don't understand why not. Please let me know in the comments down below. Do you think that it should be acceptable if people want, maybe not hire anybody, but if I myself wanted to go get some copper from that mine, I want to spend the time and the energy, why would I not be able to? Like, and you can't sue or anything like that. I don't want to hear about, oh, if you get hurt in the mine, they can be sued. No. You take full responsibility for anything that happens. You're not going to sue if you get injured. Why can I not go in there and mine some? Let me know in the comments below what you think. And yeah, Michigan politics. Conservative politics, alleged racism, and 12 million divide. That's on Mlive. I don't even know who Alyssa Slotkin is. So I guess Stabenow's Senate seat. People think in this subreddit that Alyssa Slotkin is the one. So I am ignorant of this person. I am looking more at Governor Whitmer and what she's doing, but that can be remedied very easily. So I might do a deep dive if anyone's interested in figuring out who this person is, or if you know and want to know more, want me to do a rabbit hole dive, then I definitely will. But yeah. I also go to Twitter. Twitter is, Twitter's a shithole. But you can find a gem in shit, I guess. I look everywhere. I want to find the information. I want to find the truth. So I do look, and a lot of information is put on Twitter faster than anywhere else, so I did want to go through this real quick. Gretchen Whitmer, pinned tweet. I'm honored you have put your trust in me and to continue serving this beautiful state for another 4 years. Let's get to work. Hashtag Michigan Strong. Let's see what these comments are. Top comment. Michigan, you are so lucky to have Gretchen Whitmer as your governor. WV should be so fortunate. West Virginia. Here we go. You cheated, and the whole world knows it. You liked and covered up your crimes against the state of Michigan and the USA. God knows the truth. Our time on earth is a blink, but death and where is spent eternity is huge. Your greed and nefarious actions has you on the wrong track. You need a spell check. We didn't. I trust gas station sushi more than you. We've got expectations. Gun reform is tops. Says who? Says you, obviously. Yeah, that was a dumb question, Michelle. Sorry. Yeah, I disagree. Gun reform is bullshit. The Second Amendment shall not be infringed. Also, more businesses catering to the academic jobs. Kind of tired of low education voter yahoos overrunning our state. Low education voter yahoos. I don't even know how to begin unpackaging that. I mean, if you know anything, education is just brainwashing. So, low education doesn't mean unintelligent. It just means less conditioned to think a certain way. So, more apt to think for themselves. Low education means they don't outsource their thinking to authorities. And of course, I'm not saying everyone that has an education is brainwashed. There are people that break away. But it's better to read a journalist that's never been to journalism school. And there's a reason for that. Oh, the elected women of Michigan brings me absolute joy. Oh, God. So, when will the lockdown start again? That's a good question. I steal luggage, I steal money, I steal elections, yeah. You can see, there's some people that absolutely love Whitmer. I can't stand her. She hasn't done anything good for Michigan or Michiganders. Not to say that Tudor Dixon would have done better, but Tudor Dixon didn't lock us down. And I know that Governor Gretchen Whitmer will do climate lockdowns if the climate czars in the World Economic Forum have anything to say about it. So, she was elected by them. She is their dog. She's not our dog. She's not our bitch. That's for sure. So, keep one eye on old Whitmer. Because you can see, as this person said, and this was in September 18th, 2022, Joe Biden and Gretchen Whitmer holding hands to tell you everything you need to know about re-electing Governor Whitmer for governor of Michigan. Well, supposedly we did. Now, if our vote actually counts, and the people of Michigan did vote for Whitmer, then they did so because of the abortion. But I don't subscribe to that. I think that they rig the election, they being people like Klaus Schwab, who penetrates the cabinets. These people pay for our politicians, and they pay very well. And so she's not in our pocket. She ain't holding our hand. She don't give a shit about me and you regular Michiganders, you and I. She don't care. She cares about, well, I wouldn't even say she cares about Biden, but Biden is supposed to be, he's the puppet that's in the president's seat, right? So she cares about what the puppet masters say, not what you and I say. So I'm going to end it with that. Again, I know I go after Whitmer a lot, but she is the governor of Michigan, and we do have an all-Democrat state now. And I think it's very important that someone brings about a check or balance. And I don't have much of a voice yet, but maybe I can provide a checks and balances for our crazy state, or at least just try to help you and help myself find the truth, to go down these rabbit holes, to find the information, look at all these different websites to try to really figure out what's going on. Don't trust just one of them. Cross-reference everything. And this is just step one, right? So I went through all of these websites and I found different articles and we went over them briefly. But really what I would do and what I do to present the articles normally, I find them by doing exactly this, but then finding a rabbit hole. So let's say the heart procedures moves out of Michigan hospitals. Well, I don't just read this one article. I'm going to put in keywords into Google and into Reddit, because Reddit is another really good search engine. And I'm going to try to find different angles being discussed about this one topic. So I showed you step one. Step two would be to directly search for these different rabbit holes and go down them. And that's basically what I do normally on this so far, is I gather a bunch of articles on a specific topic and present that topic. So I wanted you to see exactly how I come about the articles that I do, that I share with you, and give you an idea of how you can do internet research for yourself. So if you like this kind of let's go together, if you have any ideas on how I can make it more enjoyable for you to watch the process, you know, do you want me to go through more articles on each site? You let me know what you think about all this down in the comments. But most of the time you see people and they're reading articles, and that is really interesting, and it's good to get information in such a way. But I think it's important also to understand how these people are getting their articles. How are they getting the information? What's true? Like, how can you tell by verbiage if it's going to have bias? So the more you do internet research, the more you will become aware of these different tactics that are used that shows certain people in a better light and other people in a worse light, depending on their biases. So anyway, I hope you derive some value. Hopefully next time I actually push the go live button on time at 9 o'clock tomorrow. If all goes well, tomorrow at 9 o'clock I will be doing a live stream, but I'll be focusing on technology and transhumanism. So if you're interested in those topics, that's what I'll be discussing tomorrow. So thank you so much for watching and hanging out with me. I hope you got some information out of it, and let me know down in the comments below what news sources you look into for Michigan news specifically. Thanks again.